Welcome to another episode of Pels and the Blender. It's your boy A. Davis. Coming to y'all on this Saturday morning, man. We get one of these Saturday morning Pelican Pelican episodes in, man. Get y'all updated on some of this. You know what I mean? Some of this get y'all some of this content before we start our weekend. You know what I mean? Got football going on. They got the college football playoffs. The NFL rounding out this season. So we gonna make this a brief one on this weekend because man, I'll be honest. Whoa, what's good, bro? What's good, Q? Tapping in, appreciate you. What's good, Jaden? Tapping in as always, man. Appreciate you, dub. Appreciate everybody hit that like button as y'all continue to come in, case y'all as y'all continue to tap into the show, man. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. What's good, Mike? Bro, we talked about Z1Z. Like, you know what? Let's just start off there. Obviously, the Pels last night took a loss again. Again, we said even when it was on the winning streak, you can't count the team for any win. Like even wins they're supposed to have, you can't really count this team for any win. The margins, the room for error is too small. Whoa, was good. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button as y'all come in, man. Sub if y'all haven't sub, right? But the games that we supposed to win, you don't know if they're gonna win them or not. You don't know what the team gonna look like as they start. You know what I mean? Like from game to game, we just don't know. Like that's just what it is. I think you come to expect that at this point of the season. You've seen enough from the team to kind of know expect the unexpected, right? Couple things that we do know though. Shout out to shout out to Mike. Again, we talked about this. It was good. We said Z will go on the run. Z is, bro, like it's honestly kind of predictable, right? Like he's always said that they start the season, he need about 20 to 25 games to kind of get his legs under him, and he's still not technically there yet, but you can see it. You can see it coming. He's starting to ramp up. Do you think the way Zion is right now, you get the trade value up before the trade deadline, or the off season? Do you think the plan is because he thinks he'll still be with the Pelicans? I like from Zion's perspective, I think Zion just out there doing this thing, though. Like it, Zion, for the most part, like for whatever we say about Z and the limitations and the injuries and Zion is frustrating. That yeah, all of that is true. The thing about Z, for the most part, bro, Z plays relatively hard. Like when he plays based off his health. Like just when he's not in shape, it's only so much that he could do. As he gets healthier, you see him do more. Like if you go back to when he had the healthiest season, when they played the 70 games, the 49 win season, as that season like started coming towards the end of that season, he was playing 30 something minutes a game, and he was closing games, and he was playing defense, and he was, you know, looking dominant and stuff like that. And then he, got hurt. That's just kind of the way it is. So like this run that he's on, or like kind of ramping into, is kind of what you seen from Z. Like it's not surprising that Z could go dominate a game from a scoring perspective. I think over the next couple games, right, you'll see, let's say over like the next 5 games. Last night, how many rebounds he had last night? Rebounds. He had 8 rebounds last night. So he had 35 and 8 with 2 assists. I think as over the next couple games, let's say 5 games, nothing crazy happened, you're gonna start seeing Z being like kind of like he was when he started the season, 29, 30 something, 8, 9, 5, like 5 and 6. He gonna start looking like the Z that we think he's gonna look like. Does that translate into wins? Probably not, because I just don't think the team is good. The chemistry is not really there. They're gonna win some games, but they'll lose more. They'll probably lose more often than they win. Z Energy has been good. I was told he believes in Joe and Troy's plan for the team. I believe that he believes, and I think I'm just of the mindset that I just don't know what it is they can and or will do, right? What they can or will do. Like it's just so it's so unconventional and it's so unpredictable, like from game to game, and like everything is new to a degree, right? Like the front office is new, the coaching staff, while they're not new, James Borrego is new. You got two rookies, and it's not like you just brought in regular rookies. Like you brought in a lottery pick and a guy you gave up a future draft asset for, and then the team is on its second consecutive like worst in the league type losing streak. So it's kind of I don't know. And they haven't said uh they haven't said like what their actual plan is. So I don't know. What would I do? I'll be honest, my plan right now would just be I wouldn't completely blow it up necessarily. I wouldn't just trade. Everybody's talking about they would just trade everybody, get everybody out of here. I wouldn't necessarily do that, but I would just be shopping for talent. Like I'm trying to see if the Nets trying to get off Cam Thomas. What can I do to get Cam? Right? Like that's a $6 million deal. Like if I could figure out a way to do like Jose and something to get Cam, I'm bringing in Cam. All right. If I like for whatever they say about Cam Whitmore and all of that, like Hawkins is unplayable. Cam Whitmore might be unplayable, but I'm like just to try almost anything, I'd be willing to go get Cam Whitmore. I'm just scouring for talent. Also, I'm trying to identify what I think the team needs. I've been saying for long, I think the team needs a player like Khalil Ware. I think you finally need to identify the five that has size, defend, rebound, all of that stuff. So I'm identifying the players, and I'm worrying about the roster right now. And my first plan of doing it would be seeing if I could get distressed assets for players that I know I'm not going to keep anyway. Like as much as I like Eves isn't, I don't think Eves is part of the long-term solution of the team right now, right? You done lost 6 in a row, and 4 to 6 of them been at home. And you don't even know, the only thing you don't even know who's playable at this point, right? Like you don't know who's playable on the roster. The only things you know for sure that you have is Queen and Fears are going to be here, right? You know Zion, when he's on the court, for whatever you say, he's productive when he's on the court. I like Jordan Poole. I'm a real fan of Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a roller coaster, right? But that's a $30 million roller coaster. And I like to keep JP, but at the same time, I'm looking at 30 million. What can I go get for 30 million to help improve my roster? Like there's nothing left right now. And as much as you need to try to win games, you also need to plan for the future. So if I could turn that 30 million of Jordan Poole into a player or two players that can help the roster look somewhat sustainable, then I'm gonna do it. Like DeJounte's supposed to be coming back sometime soon. And we talked about this in the other day with the episode. Like, if you DeJounte, are you coming back off of Achilles for this? Right? Like, you do need to play, but at the same time, like, I don't know how they need to win as many games as possible. So if it's up to the Pelicans, DeJounte is playing. But if I'm DeJounte, like, I don't know if it's beneficial to him necessarily to come back and play on a bad team in a bad situation and all of that. Now, if he come back with no real responsibilities, then yeah, but DeJounte is a piece I'm trying to move. I'm trying to send DeJounte to Houston, and I need Tari Easton. I'm trying to, like, if that's me, I'm just trying to target players and get something back that we could go into the offseason and say, okay, I have an opportunity to reshape the roster to a degree. And like some of the players you might not even want to keep, but if I go into the offseason with, like, I don't know, the possibility of Cam Thomas and Tari Eason and Khalil Ware on top of Fears and Queen and Trey, you know, I might feel somewhat optimistic about the rebuild or something like that. Like, you know, and a lot of people got a lot of issues with all of those players, but again, man, you 8 and what, 30, 8 and 30 something, 8 and 20. Like, I don't even know what the record is. I know it's awful. So realistically, like, what do you have to lose? You're already at this point in, like, unless you're going all in for something major where you giving up multiple assets, right, to bring in some kind of big player, which you still, in my opinion, I think you're gonna see JB get removed at the end of the season. I think they're gonna remove the interim tag and they're gonna go find them a coach. So I think that's gonna happen. Again, it's too soon. It's too soon to say with so much of the season left, but they'd have to go on. There's just no evidence that they could go on the type of run that they would need to go on for JB to retain his job, in my opinion. So I think going into the offseason, you're looking at them getting a job, like looking for a coach. I think you're looking at them trying to reshape the roster. And that's pretty much where you stand. Now, to kind of talk about like the game last night, right? I mean, are you surprised? Right? They come out, they get off to the fast start. Zion, again, this, as much as people want to make it about Z, and it is because you're the best player on the team, but when the team is bad, you see star players and teams lose all the time. So I'm not really talking about that, especially when they lose games when everybody damn near healthy. They need literally all hands on deck to win these games. The problems that I'm seeing, or like my takeaways from the game, is you have a game plan, you start off with it and it's successful. Teams adjust to what it is that you're doing, right? And when teams adjust to what you're doing, do you have another adjustment to what it is that team is doing? It's just like we can't. I don't know if it's necessarily IQ based or what, but we don't have multiple adjustments for like what it is that teams do when they adjust to our initial game plans. Or like if a team is initially playing well, they like the shooting, we already know that the shooting is god awful. But it's not just the shooting that's bad. Like the shooting is bad. Don't get me wrong, but like they get open looks, but I think the problem with the shooting is they don't really have, and this might sound weird to say, like I hope I'm like people sticking with me when I say it, but like they have people like Hawkins, for example, is supposed to be a shooter. Like Z to me is a scorer, like Z could get a bucket whenever. I don't think we have many scores to a degree. Like Fears is still a rookie working on his game. You get what I'm saying? Like Queen is still not working on his game, but he's still a rookie. Queen is still a rookie. While they have things that they could do and attributes and stuff like that, but they don't just really have nobody other than Z that you could get a ball to and it's gonna be a bucket, right? Even Trey, to a degree, like Trey, you need to run the offense for. You need a lot to happen for them to be able to do that. And Poole, to a degree, is somewhat like that, but I don't know if it's the offense that we running or like his decision making or maybe the help. But JP is like not really the level of what we thought he would be coming in this season as well. Like I compare JP to being like CJ, right? No matter what you say about CJ, when CJ was here, bro, CJ was gonna shoot that three at a relatively good number, and he was a bucket getter. Like CJ was gonna get his 20 plus, you know what I'm saying? However, we don't really have that player, and you can see that. So aside from not having just the shooting around the court, you also don't really have that many scores. Now they do have more advantage creators, like Fizz could kind of break down the defense. Queen could break down the defense a little bit and do some stuff, but you don't really have many people that you could just throw the ball to and get a bucket. So like, and then the defense is just awful. Don't nobody defend. So like, there's really other than Zion, who are you really having to adjust your defensive game plan for? Not many. And I think that's part of what you see. And that's why, like, at certain times they go through these, through like the scoring laws, and it's just enough for you to not be able to win the games, if that makes sense. So it's just is a frustrating situation and process. And like schematically, they're not getting anything like extra easy as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like they still play way too much ISO. The injuries hurt them last night and it showed the lack of depth. Absolutely. Like the margins are already low when they're healthy. So you absolutely can't afford Queen and Trey and Sadiq Bey to not play. Like when those three are not playing, it's just too much. Like I think how much is Queen averaging right now? Like 15, Trey averaging like 20, Sadiq around like 14, 15. No, like you can't account for that. You know what I mean? So that's and the ISO ball, and that's the thing you're not good enough to play that way. You're not good enough to play that way. And respectfully to Z, like Z got 35 in like a efficient, awesome 35, right? But Z still don't stretch the floor because he don't shoot threes, right? So like when you don't have no real 3-point shooters on the floor, like you cannot win games making 8 to 10 threes. Like you just can't do it. So if you're gonna only hit 8 threes a game, and then you're still not really dominating the paint, you're not dominating the boards, and you're not good defensively, eventually teams are just gonna walk you down, or it's just gonna take one Z go take a rest because he can't play 48 minutes a game, right? Like once that happens, then eventually like we'll get the lead and then we'll be able to sustain. Like you just can't apply enough consistent pressure on other teams to really make them worry, right? Especially while people are hurt and you don't create enough stops, you don't create enough turnovers. You just don't do enough. If the Pelicans trade DeJounte Murray to the Rockets, do you think we could get in the trade for Reed Shepherd? No, you can't get Reed Shepherd and Tari Eason and a pick or two for traders, and I would have loved to trade. No, I don't. You definitely can't get Reed. You might be able to get Tari because of the contract situation. I don't know. The only question is how would the Rockets get to DeJounte's salary? Because DeJounte make 30, I think Tari only make like 6 or something like that. So the only other, like I said, the only other possibilities you would have to see if you could get Fred in the deal. And apparently Fred got a no trade clause. So if Fred got a no trade clause, he could be like, nah, I'm not going to New Orleans. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but my thing would be trying to send DeJounte to a team like Houston, who, again, for as much as what Houston got going on, they need a point guard in the worst way, in my opinion, for them to have a shot in the playoffs and whatnot. So that would be my call for DeJounte. But trying to get a player like Tari, they need players like that. Excuse me. And Tari been shooting amazing physical player, defensive player. They need more players like that. You really just gotta restructure the roster. But even with restructuring the roster, it's kind of like, how do you go about restructuring the roster? Because I'm not saying that you can't move Z now, but and some people just be like addition by subtraction, just move Z and move forward. And it's kind of like, all right, you could do that. Like you could blow the team up. You can move everything. And just get assets and whatever. The question I have, one is, do you trust the team with the assets? That's first. I trust Troy in the draft. I trust him drafting, but I don't know if I trust them like team building, if that makes sense. Like you could draft good players all you want, but you still have to build a cohesive unit that works well together and have an idea for what it is you want the team to look like and what you want them to play like. So those are some of the things I still question with Joe Dumars and Troy and like moving forward. So like, I'm not saying that you don't need to just upgrade the roster, but like, does that mean moving Trey? And if you move Trey, for what? Because as much as you like, and I understand the argument of if you move Trey, you end up looking for a Trey. And Trey is on a good contract and all of that, and I get it. But if you getting ready to rebuild, you're not about to win within the next 3 to 5, right? But I guess not winning in the 3 to 5 depends on what moves you make. Because I firmly believe that you could make like around the edges kind of move, and a good coach could have you in the playoffs. I think it could have you in the playoffs, not this year, obviously, but I firmly believe that Tom Thibodeau, and the injuries are one thing, yes, but a couple moves and Tom Thibodeau, and I think this team is a playoff team. I believe in the coach. I believe in his resume. I believe in what he's done. And like you've seen him take teams like this and do it and do it consistently. So like, why would I think that a coach like Tom Thibodeau with the track record and resume wouldn't be able to turn his team around? I absolutely believe that he could do it, because I mean, again, man, like not that the Blazers aren't okay, but like you could have won that game yesterday. You could have won the game yesterday. Like you got out to the big lead. Zion was rolling the way he was rolling. JP shot 5 of 16 is not good. Fears played 30 minutes. Like, and another thing with the minutes and stuff, bro. Like, I don't really understand like the minutes and the distribution of minutes. I think personally, I think they need to shorten the rotations a little bit. I think they need to shorten the rotations a little bit. You absolutely could have won the last few games. You could have beat the Bulls. You know, you had beat the Bulls 2 times. You could have beat the Bulls 2 times and you beat the Bulls 2 times already, and you had the third game, and you lost that game to not even like the starter Bulls. You lost that game to the backup Bulls. You could have won one of those games against Phoenix for sure. Cleveland, people give you the pass against Cleveland. The New York game, you had a chance in that game as well. Again, man, you 4-6. Well, you won 6. You lost 6 in a row. Before those games have been at home. Like, if you are, and I'm not like, this team is not a good team. This team is not a good team. So like, we have to stop thinking about them in like the realm of like good teams, or like what decent teams at least are supposed to do. But the thing is, I think the way the Pelicans see themselves, respectfully, is a little bit, I don't think they do the things that a team that knows is bad does. Like, when you know you bad, you know you have to do, again, I keep saying this, you know you have to do all of the little things. Like, you can't afford to like have somebody beat you in transition on made baskets. Like, that stuff that they was doing in the beginning of the season that we thought they had got away from, like the transition defense. The transition defense is going back to what it was when they started the season. It's just, so I don't know if it's just like buy-in, lack of attention to detail. And they talk about how detailed Borrego is. So it's like, is it Borrego? Is it the players? Like, what's going on? Because you seen them improve, and now you seeing them regress, I guess, back to the mean, and then kind of plateauing a little bit. And again, like, when you got people out, like, it don't help. So at some point, you got to get everybody back on the floor consistently. And when you do get them back on the floor, you have to just pick 8 players, bro, and that's who we playing. Pick 8, and that's who we running with. Like 9 max. So like, I think you need to run. If it's me, you're 8 at most 9. Fears, Poole. Fears and Poole might be the only guards I'm playing. Right? I mean, obviously, when DeJounte's not here right now, so DeJounte don't really count this. But Fears and Poole, Herb, Bay, Z, Trey, Queen, Carlo, Jose. Did I say? I said Bay. And Carlo and no, I'm sorry, not Carlo. Missy and Jose are like as needed. But that's you gotta lock down the rotation so you can actually get these dudes understanding what it is they're gonna be doing and get into some kind of rhythm. You got games where Bryce playing one game, then not playing the next game, and then he's starting, and then he coming off the bench, and then you got Z coming off the bench, and then you got Trey playing multiple minutes with Queen, and then you're trying to figure out what you're doing when he playing with Poole. Like, it's too much. It's too much for a bad team. You need to simplify this shit as much as possible, right? And figure out what it is that you're going to be able to do. Find one thing to attack and just attack that, right? And just be whatever your version of good is, because you have some things that you could do You just got to be able to get to it. A Murray Shepherd Easton trade salary does work. Yeah, but the Rock is not trading Reed Shepherd. If you could get Reed Shepherd and Atari Eason for Murray, like you do that every day. But like the Rock is not gonna do that. And like I make the call, don't get me wrong, I make the call, but I just can't imagine the Rockets giving up Reed Shepherd and Tari Eason for DeJounte Murray. It's very crazy. It's very crazy. Yesterday on a Friday afternoon, man, half of the team went out set out for the game for no reason. You know, everyone who did not play last night, man, they're not hurt. Man, I don't know if they hurt or not, or just need a rest or not, or what the situation may be, but it's just kind of like it's the Pelicans. Like it's the Pelicans, you know what I mean? First game back after the new year at home. You know, a winnable game. Now, respectfully, the Queen, I think, hasn't missed a game all season after not having no training camp or nothing like that. But again, you're a rookie, that's part of it. Like you just can't afford to give ground. You can't afford to give these games away, and they just are. Like you hit a rough patch in the schedule, and again, man, if you don't have all hands on deck, you're gonna lose. It don't matter where you at. So like, and then they went on the winning streak, and then you saw the fans getting ready to come back out and show up, but like now you done lost 6 in a row, and then you're gonna put yourself right back in a situation where they be like, man, this team is what we thought they was. Right? I just think you really need to. I always think when things are going wrong, sometimes simple is best. Simple is best. Less is more to a degree. Stop trying to do all of the crazy stuff. Like stop Missy one game, Carlo one game, Carlo for a fourth, and no like the full. Like, bro, you got to think Carlo arguably might be the most athletic and offensively, other than Queen, obviously. But like, well, Queen is the better offensive player, but like as far as like offensive athleticism and like being able to produce as a big, like Carlo might be one of the better players on the roster. And like you have the inconsistency of Carlo being on the floor. Like you need that on the floor for you to have opportunities to win and close some of these games. And like it's just, I don't know, man. I just think you shooting yourself in the foot a lot of times with a lot of the rotations and stuff like that. So I don't know. We got to pull someone for the squadron for Hawk. I can't watch him anymore. Dude getting lost out there. I think Hawk has lost a lot of his confidence. And again, I think part of what happened with Hawk also is Hawk went from being a really good off-ball player. Not really good. I take that back. He went from exclusively being off-ball when he first got here, right? And then they started putting the ball, because he's a guard at the end of the day and us not having, guard play, they started putting the ball, and they still put the ball in his hands way too much. Hawk needs to be exclusively off-ball, catch and shoot type situations, like at all times. And we don't run none of that for him. We don't run none of that. So like anytime like he got the ball, it's like it literally just need to be in transition, catch and shoot type situations. But I think he done lost all confidence. He hadn't got stronger. He hasn't really worked. They talk about Z not improving his game. Yeah, Z not improving his game, but he dominant as hell. Like you ain't like, you can say whatever you want about Z not improving his game. Z can still go get you 35. Right? Hawk ain't got the benefit of not improving his game or not getting stronger or not just picking up something else. Or at least you got to be like super knockdown, right? He at least was a rebounder, and I don't know what a turnover is coming from, but now they like just kind of bullying him on the court. And I did multiple episodes about how if Hawk could be okay, he could help this team, because you need shooting. Like that's really one of the bigger things that's a problem too, is all of the players that you thought were going to bring you shooting have not brought you consistent shooting. Like you thought that you would get something from Hawk. You ain't getting nothing from Hawk. He's unplayable. You thought Poole would be better at shooting than he is. One, he missed a bunch of games, and then when he does play, he's only shooting 28% from three. Like that's not good enough. That's how you only make 8 threes a game, right? And you in a league where everybody is shooting 35 to 43s a game, like, bro, they outscoring you by by 25 to 30 a night. You just not gonna beat anybody like that. So I don't know, man. But Hawk schematically it doesn't work. His play, he's played. He looks. I don't know. You gotta. That's why I said if you could get Cam Whitmore for all of the issues that Cam Whitmore is having in Washington, they done sent Cam Whitmore home. Said, bro, look, come take our problem. We got a problem that's not playable either. Like, we ain't got nothing to lose with taking on Cam Whitmore and all else fellas. You just let him go, right? So maybe you could do something like that, and maybe they feel like over there he got CJ back. Maybe they feel like they could do something with him in Washington. They ain't gonna just let them help you out, right? If that's something that's doable, that's something that I would look at. Carlo looks great out there. No way he should have been logging DMPs for that stretch of games. Bro, you got to think about this. Going back to start the season, Carlo in the preseason looked solid and then was starting the season with DMPs. Willie wasn't playing him starting the season with DMPs. Then he got hurt for a little bit. And then when Borrego first took over, like he was playing them and then not playing them and then playing them and then not playing them. I don't understand like what it is that you're seeing. And even if you're going to say, okay, you might have some defensive lapses and stuff like that, the entire defense isn't good. It isn't good. That's not to say that you're not trying to hold people accountable, but you have to lean into what you do well, which is like right now, you got to try and outscore people. That's the only way. That's the only way, unless y'all going to, again, upgrade the roster, which until that happens, this is what you have. Dog, Carlo need to be, like, respectfully, Carlo need to be playing like 25 minutes a night. Like 25 minutes a night. Like Carlo need to be there like 25. Queen need to be damn near 30. Z need to be like 35. Trey need to be 35. Like, no, them dudes need to be, for you to really have chances, you gotta, okay. That's, and you see why most, and shout out to Pro Pels, because they was talking about this in their episode, how like you see most stars playing 35 to 40 minutes a night. We've been talking about how if your roster is not good, and shout out to Grub. Grub mentioned that the depth isn't what we thought it was. Well, the depth might not be there, but then if that's the case, you got to maximize the starters. Like you got to maximize, like win, lose, or draw. Like they got to play. They gotta play like a lot. That's just kind of what it is. Do you think there's no way the Pels make the playoffs? God no. The only way I thought the Pels would even. There's only two ways the Pels even think about making the playoffs or coming close to making the play-in. I'm sorry, the play-in. One is that the teams ahead of them decide to really bottom out and tank, right? Like Sacramento got to do something. Dallas not going to do it. Utah got to kind of come back to the pack a little bit. You need like you need to try and catch Portland, like stuff like you need some stuff to happen. Those teams got to decide, okay, we ain't trying to win, because if they decide to keep trying to play, like, I don't know if you can win at the pace to catch them. Again, you have to be on like 5-game win streak, 3 games, like 5 games, and then a loss or 2, 4 games, and then a loss or 2, something like that. You got to like string together winning streaks. And this team, unless they like, so that's the first thing. Other teams got to decide to come back. The second option would be, you go make a move for something that, like, not something, you just make back end wholesale changes to the roster. Like you go get, let's say they just kind of completely change the roster to a degree and like move Herb for Kuminga, move Hawk and something for Cam Thomas, and then somehow bring in another piece from somewhere. Sometimes, let's say you do DeJounte and you get Tari or something like that. So now the back end of your roster, if you only move like Herb, Hawk, and something, Herb, Hawk, and let's say you only move Herb, Hawk, and DeJounte, and now you still have, and you ended up getting back Kuminga, you ended up getting back Kuminga, Tari, and Cam. Now you got like, okay, we got like some fire or whatever that we might be able to make a back end push to get into the play-in. But other than something like that, no, I don't think this team has enough, and they don't play consistently enough. They don't play well enough together. And I think I don't think the rotation is shrunk enough for them to make a run. All of them who did not play last night, they was bitching around, was goofy outside with Joe Dumars. Though I don't know, because I agree that like it makes me upset that like you don't see them seem upset with like all of the losing and stuff like that. And it's not to say that they're not upset, because I just can't imagine that like you would be happy with just losing like this. Like it's gotta be especially where they are in their careers. Like in Washington is different because that's a bunch of young players trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like they probably feel like their time will come. Our team is a team full of like essentially they like vets at this point, other than a couple young players. Like to only have 8 wins at this point of the season is just like, and yes, they dealt with injuries, but the injuries this season were not like the ones from last season. Like last season, it was unbelievable. Like the whole starting 5 damn near was hurt for like the first 2-3 months of the season. So you kind of got a pass for that one. This season, Trey has been available like most of the season. Queen has been available, and he's ended up being one of your bigger players. Fizz has been there. Poole was, in and out for a while. Z been in and out for a while. Sadiq Bey was like the roster might not be as good, but the players for the most part have been available. Like, so I'm with you as far as like the bitching and stuff like that. And also, again, man, it goes back to the talking about the accountability. It goes back to them dudes not doing post-game press conferences and stuff like that. Like anytime them dudes take a loss, I need to hear from Zion. I'll be wanting to hear from Trey. And that just goes to let you know that they were being let off the hook, right? You was hearing from rookies during the losing streak. You weren't hearing from the elder statesmen, quote unquote, of the team when they was going through their struggles. And that's a big issue. And I don't really know how you change it, to be honest. I don't know how you change it. Like either you gotta, because if like it's clearly being allowed. It's one of those things that they're allowing to happen. So I don't know why or how or what the circumstances are behind all of that, but it's not like if I'm the player, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to go speak to the media after we done lost 6 in a row. Like, no, that's not really how that goes or how it is. I think there'll be a few teams to tank for a higher pick. Yeah, maybe. But this the problem is that we so bad that like it may not even matter. It may not even matter. We still have stretches. We have stretches towards the end of the season where like we're not playing a lot of bad teams, right? So we'll still be playing teams in the East that's competing for playoffs. We haven't played the Magic yet. We haven't played a lot of the East teams yet. Like we haven't played the Bucks, I don't think. We haven't played the Wizards. We haven't played Toronto. Like we haven't played a lot of the East teams just yet. And you still got games against the West teams that's trying to win. So I just don't know if even if the teams are starting to tank, if they'll be able to like they're gonna out tank you because you're just not good enough. Like the Houston win all season might end up being the best win of the season. Like, and it's too early to say that. Again, who knows? But it's just kind of like, man, I really like. Obviously, I'm a fan of the team, and I want them to do well. I'm just sitting there trying to think about like what's the process and how do you go about doing it. I wanted to talk about. I still haven't been able to get to it, man. Like, because I want to do an episode about DeJounte, but there's just been so much. There hasn't been no real information about DeJounte at all to know like anything. Like the only thing we knew is that he was supposed to be coming back sometime around They putting out the stuff talking about you supposed to be coming back sometime December, January, but like January is here, and then it's kind of like I don't know if he gonna be here in January, because if that's the case, you talking about DeJounte possibly coming back in 2 to 3 weeks. If DeJounte come back in 2 to 3 weeks, what do what do the roster look like? What do the rotations look like? Like, I don't know if you start him, but like Poole started yesterday. He didn't necessarily play overly well, but like, do you go ahead and play Poole now? Right? When everybody comes back healthy, do you consider it at least? And if DeJounte is coming back, like whose minutes are getting cut? Like, obviously you would think Jose loses damn near all of his minutes. Jose, Bryce, all of them lose their minutes. But like, do he cut into Poole's minutes? Do we cut in the Fierce minutes? Or because DeJounte, for everything that they say, like if he comes back and plays, I ain't got time to be playing one game and then not playing another game, which is kind of how Borrego has been doing things. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what they do. Trade for Kuminga and 2 firsts helps the resets. Her a keeper for next season. Cam Reddish on a 2-way too. Like, why would you? The question I guess would be why move Trey and keep her? Like, that would be my thing. Like, if I could move anybody, I'm gonna move her before I move Trey. Like, so and again, Kuminga and 2 firsts, I feel like you could probably get. I think you could probably get more than that, to be honest, for Trey. So I don't know. And again, if I'm gonna move Trey, I'm moving everything. I'm gonna be honest, like to the point where it don't matter. Like, if I move Trey, I'm moving Z, I'm moving Herb, like if you get to the point where you move Trey or Z, you might as well shut this thing down. And they could already be in that mindset, but like once you decide that one of those two go, then everything gotta go. That's just kind of the way it is. As you get LeBron at the deadline for Zion, let the GOAT end his legacy in Orlando. That's funny. Say, bro, you'll have. First off, LeBron got way too much power to ever have something like that happen. LeBron have been in Camden, New Orleans, and be like, he'll be on some Jordan type stuff. Like, okay, can I get part ownership? If I could get part ownership, I'll come do a little bit of time now. I'll come do some back end stretch. But other than that, no, man. You know that. I know you joking, but like, you know that ain't happening. Move everything. Again, there's been no indication of what the plan is. I think Joe Dumars is really just sitting back, kind of letting this shit play. I think he really just letting everybody bury themselves. Like, I think that's what he's doing, to be honest. He's like, they was like, all right, keep Willie. All right, cool. Willie buried himself early. All right, boom, got him out. Everybody was like, okay, let's give Borrego the opportunity. And Borrego's been up and down. Right now, he's 6-18. You could say it's the roster. And I'm not saying that it's not the roster, but I also feel like a part of what's going, like, he has some culpability that's going on right now. That's partly the problem. So again, and he has more than enough time with this particular team to like make his case. And right now, I think he's burying himself. We'll see moving forward if he could do anything to kind of change it. But I think he's burying himself. Z kind of got a fresh start, right? They came out, you the face of the franchise. This is your team. We believe in you. And you know, you've been up and down. You've been up and down. You've been in, you've been hurt, you've been out, you've been whatever. So like the team's still not winning with Z. And as much as I like Z, they 5-15 with Z. Right? Z done played 20 games so far. They 5-15 with Zion. That's just not good enough. It's just not good enough for you to be the franchise player. If I'm the franchise player and I'm only 5-15, like it don't matter what other pieces are around to a degree, right? It's gotta look a certain way when you are on the court, right? You still got the minutes restriction. They bringing you off the bench. They got games you're not closing. you know, a lot of season left, but it's just not looking promising for anything that was here. Right? Anything that was here. Like the rookies have shown flashes, but Queen has defensive concerns. Fears has concerns as well. But I'm not worried too much about the rookies. I think the rookies have done enough to show that they have promise. Obviously, they're part of the future. They're part of the rebuild. So, like, I absolutely think like the rookies have shown enough to where you like, okay, we have something with them. Poole hasn't panned out. And again, I was a big Poole fan. Hawkins hasn't panned out. Herb is playing terrible all season. Sadiq Bey has been good, but I think the only issue I had with Sadiq Bey, and it's not even Sadiq Bey's fault, he had started playing so well that people went to forgetting that Sadiq Bey was a role player. People was looking at Sadiq. Sadiq went to getting 20 in a row, a couple games, and it was like, oh yeah, man, we got the guy. It was like, no, wait, like when Sadiq scores like that is a plus. Like that shouldn't be what the team is technically relying upon. Like with coming into the season, that's not what you thought you was gonna have in Sadiq Bey. So like shout out to him, but no, like that was an outlier that ended up happening. He's actually outplayed Poole. And again, I'm a big Jordan Poole fan. Depending on whatever happened to JP, I want him to do well. I would love for JP to do well. Here, it seemed like when they brought him in, they said he was part of the core. But again, for 30 mil, bro, you can't be shooting 28% from three. Like 28%, you were brought in to shoot. 28% from three is not in like the indecision, like the bad decision making. Like you gotta fix all of that. Willie laughing right now. Yeah, probably because you was highly underpaid and everything that people was laying at the feet of Willie Green is Willie probably sitting there like, see, I told you. So, but again, that don't mean he was good either. Like it was proven that he still wasn't good because again, for everything that's going on right now, Willie wasn't playing Derek Queen either. Like he was playing Jeremiah Fears a bunch of minutes because I thought he related to Jeremiah Fears and the story and all of that. But you talking about you can't play Derek Queen over Kevon Looney? Come on, man. That's enough to let you know like where his thought process was and what it's just inexcusable. Willie had way too many inexcusable moments throughout his entire coaching tenure here to where like it was time to move on. Max contract players need to be able to score 40. None of these can. Not consistently, at least. Not consistently. Like, and again, I think we're about to get to that point. Like, you got like another 5 games, right? And I'm telling you, got like another 3 to 5 games. Zion starting to wrap up, find the rhythm, all of that. The minutes about to uptick and whatnot. You about to see Z go on the typical Z run, right? 29, 12 and 8, 35. He might catch a 40 here or there. Like you're about to see. I firmly believe if nothing is really wrong with Trey, I think you're about to see the Pelicans Trey Z combination that we have been seeing when they were getting rhythm every so often, right? And they look awesome. I just don't know if the talent around them the rest of the way is going to be able to play consistent enough. Not even play consistent. I don't know if the rotations. I just have a lot of questions outside of that. But I think you're about to see Z and Trey look like what we saw Z and Trey look like. That gave you optimism, that had you being like, man, get Brandon out of here so Trey can start. I think you'll see that starting to come around like over the next, like the month of January. I think you're going to see some of that. And then you might have some hope, but I just don't think it's going to result in much of anything. Same old Pelicans. They used to go up 10 to 12 points, start the game, lead, and go away, snap a finger. Don't know what happened after they lost. That's, like you say, typical Pels. Whoa, what's good, Liam? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. If you hadn't hit the like button, man, hit the like button. JP has a ring, right? Yeah, JP got the ring. That's why I'm starting JP. I think JP need the play. I'm still playing JP 30-something minutes, but JP, while he actually has been like finding his rhythm, right? He's just He's just inconsistent. He's just inconsistent. But I think he's also been in an inconsistent role. He's been in an inconsistent role. And then like that's hard to find your rhythm. You don't know who you're playing with. You don't know where your shot's coming from. It's just again, you got to be ready at all times. But like I think most, especially like professional athletes, I think a lot of them are creatures of habit, right? And when they get into some kind of rhythm is when they can start to perform as best they can. Like I'm playing one night, not playing, I'm playing these minutes and then not playing. I'm in for 19. I'm like, I don't think that's how. I think you need to decide what it is you're doing and then roll with it, win, lose, or draw. Like that's just kind of the way I think when you're a bad team, you need to be. And that's also how you figure out what's going on. You can't just constantly be switching shit up because you don't have no answers that way, in my opinion. I will say we have the assets to go get real talent that is buy low. You do have buy low at like you can do that. And if you do it soon enough, like Cam Thomas damn near not playing sometimes for Brooklyn. Like he would come here and almost be one of the best players on the team. Like you and people take for granted how well he can score the ball, right? This team needs a player that can just, I'm a bucket. Like the dude a bucket. He's a bucket. It's just what it is. And like at some point you just need that. Portland built Dame and CJ built a whole reputation and career, a whole 10-year, damn near 10-year career of them two just being buckets. Can't defend, don't really play, make too much. We get buckets. That's what we do. And they were in the playoffs. They went to the Western Conference Finals. Like you would beg for that. Yeah, if you just had somebody who could just consistently give you 25 to 30 a night. Like that's just what you know he gonna do. And you just build around that. 30 consistently is enough to be a star player. What you mean? Like 30 points? Or 30 minutes? I'm confused. I feel like JP always digging the team out of a hole, which is where you see him, that crazy shit. If he had players around him that were competent, he could play his role. I completely agree. Because the thing with JP is JP, by being one of the more accomplished, he has to compensate for a lot of the shit that's going on, which is why I blame Borrego to a degree, right? Like JP is, again, he's just as veteran damn near as Zenem. He has the reputation. Like I played with Steph, I played with Clay, I played with Draymond. So like, again, to not have him in a situation where like, I feel like if he was more, and his role was more established, that's how I'm trying to say it. If his role was more established, I think he would be less erratic. I think he would be less willing, not because he always gonna be willing to try stuff, but I think he would be less willing to try it if he just knew the minutes were gonna be here. I'm starting and closing, like you just knew what your stretches would be. That's what the problem was in the beginning of the season. Like he would start the thing about this, like when the very first game you saw it, like he started the game out hot against the Grizzlies and then sat for like 10 minutes. It's like, dog, what is this? Like I'm in a rhythm, things are going, and like I'm not playing. Then you come in, I play a little bit. I gotta try to figure out a way to get it going. Then I'm benched again. Then you want me to like no, that shit. Like that's like if Willie Green started this and James Borrego, in my opinion, is finishing it. And like and as much as I love Fizz, bro, I'm like I just think he would be better served coming off the bench. That would make his role more consistent too. And it's not even about his play necessarily. Like it's up and down, his rookie level play. Like he has good games, bad games, but you have to rely on the people that have been around if you're trying to win games. Not just come out and tell us you don't care about winning. And then we could just feel different about it. Send Jose to New York. Send New York and Hawk to the Nets. Bring you Yabu to expiring and Cam Thomas. Send Z to Miami. Grab West. I'm expiring. Send Murray to Golden State for Kuminga, Moody, and picks. Get some picks where you can. I'd probably do all of those deals. If you send Jose to New York and brought back like McBride, and you send Hawk to the Nets for Cam, Z to Miami for, I mean, it'd be like Ware and Scary Terry. And if Murray to Golden State for Kuminga Moon, dog, you would look at the team and you would be like, all right, if you did all that and got some picks, you would look at it and be hopeful, because out of those, you still kept, let me see who you didn't move. You didn't move Trey. You didn't move Herb. You still got your rookies. You still can move Missy for something if you need to. I mean, I think you can move Poole for something if you need to. I think you can make that work. I think you can make it work. It'll at least give you some kind of, you'd have McBride, Fizz. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could. It ain't worse than what you have. Keep Herb, Trey, Fizz, Queen, Missy, Carlo, big spot done. You would only trade Trey if the Spurs call, give you like Vassell, Sohan, and pick a two. There you go. See? Also have Herb, Peeve train together. Peeve defense. I ain't gonna lie. I like Peavy, but I'm not overly worried about Peavy or Herb, to be honest, because I think defensively you gotta move. I think defensively we need to come up with a strategy first and figure it out. Like, I think is bigger than just, hanging on to Peavy and Herb, because I just don't think that that's enough like impact defensively. And then neither one of them are threats offensively. Like, the main problem that this team has is there's not enough two-way players, right? There's not enough players that are like effective on both sides. And like, I don't know how long it's going to take Peavy's offensive game to catch up to the defensive game. And while defensive, he's competent, he ain't like young Kawhi defensively. You know what I mean? Like, if he was young Kawhi defensively, then okay, you might be able to consider it. But I'm willing to move him too. Just being honest. Give it some time. I think Dumars will have this team looking like the 04 Pistons in a few years, and the city will be buzzing again. I agree. I do not know what the plan is, right? I just think the first season is looking like he's just kind of literally, like he said, I'm going to just sit back and observe and let everything play out the way it's supposed to. Like I said, Willie Green kind of buried himself. I think like Willie Green has buried himself. He's gone. I think Borrego is essentially going to bury himself. He's going to be gone. They still have the rest of the season to decide on Z. I think they kind of decided on Herb. They just haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I think they know what they think about Herb. I think they know what they think about Missy. I think they saw enough from their rookies to have an idea. I think they have idea about Poole. Like, I think they have an idea of moving forward, whatever it is they want to do on like the main pieces of this team. I think it just comes down to what you're doing with DeJounte, what you're doing with Poole. Are you willing to move Z? And let's say you bring in a new coach. What your new coach want to do? Like, what do your coach want? And what kind of coach do you go for? What kind of coach will determine a lot with this team moving forward? Because again, to me, it's just as simple as, if you go with a veteran like coach, right? I think a lot of people have been saying that they're not going to spend the money on a coach. I actually think that they are going to spend the first coach. I think they're going to spend the money on whoever the first coach is. So the question is, do you bring in the coach before you make like the big trades? Right? Like, before you make the big trades, do you bring in the coach? What I'm going to start looking for over the, like, as the season kind of gets ready to wind down, what coaches that's like kind of out of the spotlight right now start doing interviews and stuff like that. Like, which ones start commentating on the game? That goes to show like which coaches are like still kind of itching to get jobs and stuff like what's his name? Like, Tom Thibodeau kind of been like out of sight, out of mind. So a lot of people not worried about him or considering him. Mike Malone hasn't done too much. But like, if you start seeing them dudes on TV and stuff like that, especially towards the end of the season, you'll start seeing people start considering them for jobs. So I'm interested to see towards the end of the season how how that stuff kind of plays out, because the coach is going to determine the direction, in my opinion. If you bring in like a veteran coach, they ain't trying to rebuild, which means you probably not moving Z. That don't mean you can't improve the team without moving Z, but that's just probably what that means. If you bring in a younger coach, or if you sign like somebody like that, they're probably tearing it down. Like that's just kind of how I figure the trajectory of this thing will go. That's typically how teams do it, to be honest. And I don't think they have anybody from the inside. Like Joe Dumars don't know none of these people. They don't. And I honestly believe that he probably wants to wipe the entire staff anyway and bring in all his own people. Like they wiped the front office this year. I'm pretty sure they want to wipe the coaching staff next year, and then not completely wipe the roster. But in 2 years, this roster is going to look completely different. If you are Joe Dumars and Trey, who are you going to get to be the next head coach for the Pelicans? Because there are a lot of great coaches out there. Like I said, man, the ideal coach for me would be Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, because I think the Tom Thibodeau coach, Tom Thibodeau like coach would fit the, like, he has the resume, he has the no nonsense. We be so frustrated with players not playing minutes. He don't really play like, extended rotations and stuff like that. Man, I think you get Tom Thibodeau in here, you'll really have, if you get Tom Thibodeau here and you make a couple roster moves, you feel like Tom Thibodeau would maximize whatever the roster is necessarily. And like a lot of people talk about Mike Malone, right, and wanting to bring in Mike Malone. Mike Malone was in Denver for 10 years, bro. Like, Mike Malone did a decade. And yeah, they won the championship, don't get me wrong. But it took Mike Malone a long time to, like, turn that thing around in Denver. They had a lot of years before Murray got there and then Joker became Joker and stuff like that, where Mike Malone, like, Denver was not the Denver we know now. And yeah, he built it up, but again, Joker became a guy. That's a 10, but he was there for a decade. Most coaches don't get that much time, right? Like, we don't have a decade for you to be that bad. Especially, I don't think he's going to want to do a rebuild. Like he was I want to say he was a younger coach, not a young coach, but you know what I mean? Like, it was one of his first real head coaching jobs in Denver. So he had a stretch there. So I don't know if Mike Malone at this point is going to do a rebuild. Tom Thibodeau, I just know from day one, comes in and teams improve. That's just what I know. I think Troy will go after Duren and Ivy. Man, if you could bring in Duren and Ivy, like, that would be, I mean, Ivy got a lot of injuries he's coming off of. So I don't know how you feel about, like, where he is as far as his career, but I mean, again, they got the ties to Detroit and stuff like that. So I mean, there's always an option. We're an hour and something in, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long on this Saturday. They got a lot going on. Hope y'all go ahead and enjoy y'all weekend. I don't think we could possibly get Duren. I know Duren's about to go in on his max deal, and I just can't imagine what the Pistons look like. I just can't imagine them letting him go for anybody, to be honest. So that's, again, I think that's highly unlikely. I don't know what it would be that the Pelicans would have to give up to even do it. And you got to have a max slot available for Duren anyway, like damn near super max, because he's probably going to make one of the all NBA teams. So I don't know. And then, like, where you at in your franchises, like the trajectory of the franchise, like the present state of the Pelicans, I don't know if you want to bring in like a max player like that. I mean, he is young enough to where it don't matter, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it would depend on the plan. It depends on the plan, and we don't know what that is necessarily. But again, over the next couple weeks, I think it's going to start to clear itself up, because a couple things that's about to happen. Z is about to go on his tear. He'd have been back for 10 games now. And like, you can see him just constantly, like, slowly ramping it up. The first game back, he had 18, then the Houston game, 9. After that, 29, 24, 26, 20, 22, 32, 31, 35. Like, he about to start getting in that 29, 32, 35, 38. Like, he about to start looking like that. And looking like that before the trade deadline might give some teams some hope, but we'll see. You just need him and Trey to start going on a tear and then see what it look like. But I think that's where we are in this part of the season. You're going to see Z ramp it up. You're going to see Trey ramp it up. And is it going to amount to anything? I don't know. Maybe not. And then we just kind of go from there. But man, that's gonna do it for the day. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. For everybody that's trying to hit that like button, subscribe, man. I'm A. Davis. It's Pels in the Blender. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace.